said they need to have it
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Sometimes they tell you.
It's 6:30, calling the regular meeting of the Universal City Council to order. It's Wednesday, November 6, 2024. Call for a quorum check.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Councilmember Bulman.
Here.
Councilmember Goolsby.
Here.
Councilmember Putt.
Here.
Councilmember Vaughan. Councilmember Vaughan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. The invocation will be given by Councilmember Vaughan tonight, and I'll lead this into the pledge. Please stand.
Dear God, thank you for the gift of life as we gather here tonight to discuss the city's business and the people's business. May we all remember that despite whatever challenges and hardships we may be facing, that we remain grateful for all that you've given us. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
We kind of changed up the agenda just a little bit today because we have a couple of proclamations and awards to give. First off is actually one for our veterans, and I kind of like to start off with, I guess, a little preamble before that. We have a lot of, at one time we had probably about 90% of our city were retired military or military associated. That's dwindled over the years. Our city council, right now, I think I'm the only remaining actual veteran on the council. We have two that are associated by marriage, but the climate's changed. So with that being said, it's really hard to express the importance of recognizing our military, especially to individuals that are not members of the DD 214 Club. The DD 214 is that piece of paper that verifies that we are veterans, and it provides a historic view of our military career, very briefly, listing our assignments, medals, awards, positions held. It does not tell about the hours, days, weeks, months spent alone in your unit, many times thousands of miles away from family, pulling extra duty on holidays, missing family life events such as ball games, plays, graduations, weddings, and sometimes even funerals. Remembering our vets is a small courtesy that we can offer our veterans. There's a motto on the arch at the Veterans Park over off of Aviation Way that says, "All gave some, but some gave all." And that's the reality of being a member of the military and being a member that we remember. With that being said, today we're reestablishing Universal City as a Purple Heart City. Now, originally, by proclamation, we did this back in 2017, if I remember correctly. But somewhere along the line, we kind of dropped the ball and it kind of got lost out. So we're reestablishing it today. And as a little preview, the Purple Heart was originated by General George Washington as an award for merit in 1782. It was primarily for officers, though. The enlisted were just kind of out of luck. The present Purple Heart was changed by executive order, oddly enough, by President Roosevelt in 1942. Stating that the Purple Heart was approved for all branches of the military. Now today that actually includes the Coast Guard. All branches of the military for all wounded are those killed in action during active enemy engagement. Back to 1917, this from 1942, taking it back. The Purple Heart is the oldest military medal still in use by the U.S. military, and it's for all branches, and it's awarded by the President of the United States normally. Today we have Mr. Bill Crumper, the Adjutant of the Alamo Chapter of 1836, the Military Order of the Purple Heart, and some visitors coming up. If you come up to the front.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing a proclamation that's going to be signed by the entire council. And once that is done, I think we'll provide a copy of you. But we also have signs to go through the city. And I'm proud to say that ours is much prettier than what Shirts has.
Can I get somewhere?
We also have quite a few members of our VFW here, the post commanders here. Commander, if you'd bring your crew up, we'd appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, come on up, please. You're part of it.
Thank you, sir.
Scoot together.
Please come on up here.
Why don't you get in the middle,
Whereas the citizens of Universal City have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all of the men and women who selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created as the badge of military merit by George Washington in 1782. And whereas the Purple Heart was the first American Service Award or decoration made available to the common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in combat with a declared enemy of the United States of America. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of these men and women from the Universal City who have served and those who now serve in the armed forces of the United States of America have been vital in maintaining the freedom and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas many men and women in uniform have given their lives while serving in the armed forces. Now therefore, it be resolved that Universal City shall be known and recognized as a Purple Heart City.
And with that being said, it is my honor to dedicate this to all the veterans in Universal City by the citizens of Universal City. Thank you. Do you have any words to say before you sit?
It's an honor to be here. And thank you very much for the honor that you bestowed on, Purple Heart recipients, of which, we're 4 of us here. Thank you very much.
We appreciate your dedication and all that you give. And welcome home. Long time coming.
I'd like to add that as a Universal City resident, I'm proud of that sign. It looks beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We also have one other award coming up. Universal City just received the coveted Best Water Award. Oh, yeah. Bring your team up.
All right, guys, if you'd like to go to the front. All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. This year the city utility
Get everybody in here?
This year, the city's utility department participated in the best tasting drinking water competition hosted by Texas Water Utility Association at the end of September. In order to compete in this competition, the utility must abide by several rules, including having no violations with TCEQ over the past year. This year, the competition was tight, as there was actually 6 agencies that competed. There's one from each of the different regions representing the state. The water samples are judged in 3 categories: the color, the smell, and also the taste of the water. Tonight, standing before you is the staff that take great pride in their job in making sure that the citizens of Universal City have the best quality of water to drink. So tonight, we have the award, Mayor, for best tasting drinking water for the state of Texas, brought back home to Universal City.
Yeah.
After the meeting tonight, free water for everybody. Thank you very much. Who gets the coveted award? Who's taking it? You taking it? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mayor,
Yes.
if we can get a photo with the two,
Yes.
director and assistant.
Uh-oh, we're getting tired.
Turn to the side.
I'm sorry, my stomach's in the way.
All right.
Plug it in.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Well, we'll get this brand. Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Well done, guys.
We'll see you later.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We have one more set of awards. Councilmember Putt is coming down. The pumpkin patch is over and she's giving out a few cash
Donations. Earnings and donations. We wanted you to see us without straw in our hair and without our green aprons on. We're going to give out 2 today, and it's just an example of what the 30 Days at the Pumpkin Patch did actually for Universal City. We had 26 nonprofits this year that raised money. It's their donations. This is usually what they get for the year. But our proudest is our UCCPAA Bill, if you'll come forward, and our beloved fire department, who just is at our beck and call, even when they really don't need to be. Jeff, if you and you guys want to come up.
And we like each other.
They put a lot of time, a lot of work. This green group, man, they had to do the parking on weekends, and shoot, they earned it. And that group over there had to put up with us. And yeah, they earned it too, a lot. So I want to thank you, but I just want to express the importance. Yeah, it's a pumpkin patch, but over 26 groups earned over $40,000. Wow. And it's all right here in our city. And we're just real proud of that. So Christina?
Yes, fire, you guys are going to get $929.69. So thank you so much. And Citizens Police, the Universal City Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. You all get the half that, you guys get half of that, but plus you also get the extra $500 for parking. So your total is $1,469.69.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
See you next October. Thanks so much. We appreciate you. Pictures.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it.
Let's get everyone looking one way.
Oh,
sorry.
Focus.
Sorry.
everyone say pumpkin patch.
It's closed.
It's closed. I know.
That's right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I thought I was trying to.
No.
I don't want to know, man.
On the business.
It's always fun to give things away.
Yeah, let's see.
City manager report?
I have no report, sir, so if you don't mind, I'll move straight into staff report.
Go for it.
So as council knows, a couple of years ago, we started a process when a developer is working on a project. Before they spend a lot of time and money, they were able to come to city council to do a concept presentation. So here for you this evening, we have Meritage Homes. They are doing a concept presentation on a piece of property that they have under contract in our ETJ, which is out on 1518. I know that some of you have been out there to see the Orchard Park subdivision. That was their first subdivision that they did out in our ETJ, and now they are proposing a second subdivision, albeit larger. So they're going to go ahead and do their presentation, and so here's what's very important for them this evening, that you ask a lot of questions and you give them feedback so that they can determine of whether or not that they should be moving forward on this project and going forward and spending time and money at their expense. Doesn't mean that you're approving everything that they intend to do. They do need to have some feedback from you, and that can come through questions or just statements. So with that, I'm going to turn it over.
Thank you.
You're going to use that one and then introduce yourself.
That's what you're talking about.
you.
Well, Mayor, City Council, staff, and citizens, thank you for giving us this time to present our concept plan. So we started on this project close to the northeast corner of FM 1518 and Maskey Road. You have a clicker?
Sorry, we do have a clicker, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So we go to this first slide, we'll give you the approximate location of where we're starting at. These colors just represent the cities here. So we have Shirts in yellow, Selma in blue, Universal City ETJ in pink, and then Universal City Limits in green. And so what we began here on is the Armstrong tract. So we first got this under contract with Mr. Armstrong to develop right back here behind our sold-out Orchard Park development. So we've been going through the process with Shirts, continuing to work on this property, and we've been in contact with the Byrd family. We've worked with the Byrds previously. This property came back to us, so we are working to acquire and assemble Mr. Armstrong's property along with this section of the Byrd property. So the Byrd property will comprise this part here that you see in the pink in the Universal City ETJ, and then this part here that straddles the line going into Shirts. So that gives you the location. We got Maskey Road right here. We can go to the next one. Okay, this is just showing the general land use in this area. So the red is showing residential. Blue going to the west is showing you commercial pad sites. And then we're proposing a 2-acre commercial pad site right out close to the entrance on 15, where the community would lead out to 1518. So we're proposing neighborhood services use out in that small blue corner out here. Right there. And so this is just a continuation of that, where we talk about proposed commercial use. We're proposing a 2-acre neighborhood services area here. The Byrds continue to have their family homestead and several homes along here. Maybe that goes to a commercial in the future, and commercial in front of Orchard Park there. So this is just a compilation of 2 letters that I received from 2 brokers that I work with that are not affiliated with this project at all. I asked them to give me their opinion of the best types of uses that could be possible for the 2-acre tract for neighborhood services. So they named things like medical services, small healthcare retail, maybe a fitness shop, coffee shop, nail salon, daycare, things related to a small office. If we're talking about an 8,000 to 10,000 square foot building to go on the 2-acre pad that we're contemplating for the front commercial development out by 1518. You ready for the next? And so this, in the proposed development, you see the word AQs down here, and that's the area between the 2 yellow lines. So this is an open space that's determined by Randolph or JBSA, and then our main requirement in the middle of that is this open space, for this space here to be left open. That's the mid path of possible flight traffic coming from JBSA. So we maintained that open space when Orchard Park was developed, and that would be the same for the new Savannah Farms development. So we move over to this. This is the land plan where it shows the Armstrong land tract, and then what we would be acquiring from Byrds all assembled together. So this is the Universal City portion down here. These would be 50-foot wide lots by 120. They'd be exactly the same size lots and the same home product that's in our Orchard Park development here. You can see the different zoning would require 60 and 70-foot wide lots in the Schertz section to be 130 feet long. Excuse me. We have a main entry point on 1518 down here on Maskey Road, also connecting to Savannah Parkway and back here to Orchard Park. Things incorporated in this land plan, you can see we've kept a green space down here on the curve of 1518 to maintain the line of sight for cars coming around that corner. The commercial pad up here, you can see roundabout intersections within the Universal City portion, a large area for a dog park here in the middle, a separate driveway for the mailbox access. We would have quite a long walking trail that would extend from the dog park up here all the way to the back. And then back there in the pink shaded area is the area we designated for an amenity center. So there we're talking about a pool area, a playground, restrooms, and space for another dog park back here. Thank you. And go to the next one. So we talk about the track highlights. Currently located in Guadalupe County, Schertz city limits, and Universal City ETJ within the Schertz-Cibolo Universal City School District, we will annex into a development agreement similar to what we did in Orchard Park. We will follow all development and city building codes. We'll build the same product in Universal City side as we did in Orchard Park. We will comply with the JBSA open space and noise restriction and tree requirements. We'll address all drainage and traffic requirements with a drainage study and a traffic impact analysis. So I'm talking more about the land plan. We will install the traffic calming roundabouts as seen on the plan. We'll have the 2-acre commercial tract and 4 access points coming into the community. Universal City residential section will have R3 zoning, and just like the Orchard Park neighborhood. Again, the amenities will include a pool area, playground, dog park, mailbox area, and an extensive walking trail. So in planning for that community, we'd have a limited access opportunities off of 1518. We'd have just the main entryway coming in there by the 2-acre proposed commercial tract. So please let us know what questions we can answer. Any feedback, we're happy to get that.
Council's open. More questions? Feedback?
I'd love to jump in if I could.
Go right in.
So my first one is the amenity center. Why is it all the way at the back end, away from this?
I can answer that actually. So the reason why we use that space, which is almost 7 acres, is that it already has a current dugout pond. So it made more beneficial use to us to go ahead and use that area for the pool area. And it was an area where we could dedicate that much space to actually put in more amenities, such as the bathroom, some more walking trails in there, another additional dog park that we would also have on the Universal City side, and to have a playground, a bigger playground. So
I just, as I'm looking at it, whenever somebody would give me a call and be like, why'd you let them put that amenity center all the way as far from Universal City as they could? I'm just needing a good answer, because that works best is not a good answer.
I'll give you one more. So part of the restrictions for all the properties that are in the ACUs, which at this point looks like it's about 70 to 80% of the properties, they will not allow any amenity centers in the ACUS area. No playgrounds, no pools, no parks.
So outside the yellow lines.
Outside the yellow lines.
Which is why Orchard Park has no open space or walking trails in it. It's because it's 100% in the flight path, and Randolph will not allow any of those amenities in the flight path.
See, that's a good answer. But I do see some of this outside of the yellow line adjacent to the creek. I don't know if this is something that y'all could consider. I feel like Universal City's getting the short end of the stick with the amenity center being as far away from UC as it could be. And that's frustrating to me as a council member. You said you will comply with JVSA. Have y'all already opened discussions with them on this?
Not yet. This is our first step here.
This is the first blush here?
Yes.
Because that's a big one for us. And
absolutely.
I mean, you saw everybody out here a minute ago, right? This is a big deal. Yeah. So that's that compliance, and then making sure that we do that. Be aware that you will get pushback because people already understand that there's a numbers game that you and the base play, and that is what people are expecting is large acre homes. What we're doing is making it more economical. So people get mad when you turn around and you're supposed to only have this minimal density, but you pack it into one piece. I understand why you're doing it. I totally get it. I'm just giving you the heads up. My next one is traffic. You're dumping how many more people onto 1518?
Yeah.
That hurts, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. But a TIA analysis will be done to make sure all the increase in people is mitigated in the proper ways, including turn lanes or anything that is required by them.
Okay. My next one, and it will be my last for a moment, is are the streets in Universal City as wide as the ones that you've got going in Shirts?
Yes, sir.
They are, okay. I just, a little map, it looked a little off.
Yeah, no, they're all.
I was about to double check it. Okay.
You check it.
I don't want, I'm already wishing that, when I see all these larger lots elsewhere, and then it's called out that UC has the smaller lots. It's like, again, but I understand it. It's what we allow. It's not what they allow. And part of me is like, well, come on. If you're doing all of these houses at this size elsewhere, why not here? And I understand you push the limit. You're maximizing what you can do.
Mr. Goolsby, so maybe some clarity for you. So we don't have, Shirts has zoning authority on their property because it's inside their city limits. And this is a negotiable point for the city council because they'll be entering into the planned unit development. You can give the suggestion or recommendation that maybe there are some larger sized lots on the UC side as well. And they'll have to take that into consideration with their planning and of course their return on their investment.
Right. Then I definitely recommend that we look at, I used to work for a guy who said, I need every parking spot I can get. And it didn't matter what we had to do, we had to tweak it. It drove me nuts. We designed a great parking lot. It was fantastic. It worked really well. But by gosh, if we tightened everything up just a little bit more, made it just a little bit tighter, I could get one more parking space. But that extra tightness really did frustrate me every time I turned around. So there's a hill for me to get over. I'm asking if y'all can consider not sardine canning the houses in UC. The UC, Shirts, Cibolo, we all harass each other on a regular basis. Don't sardine this if you don't have to. I wouldn't mind if you matched what you've got going on elsewhere, or at least made an effort to match what you've got going on elsewhere. I understand there's some of them that, man, I get that one more property on this, I get that. As a guy sitting up here, I'm asking you to give me just a little bit more breathing room if you can.
Yes, sir. We'll definitely look at that.
I appreciate it. I'm done for now, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, sir.
Is Shirts, I guess since they're already in the city limits, they're not doing a PUD for Shirts, is that right?
Shirts, I think you're just doing a master plan. Is that
Yes.
right?
Sure,
Master
yes,
plan.
sensitive.
No zone change requests.
How do you
No,
feel
we're
about?
actually, so on the top portion, the Armstrong portion, we are rezoning only the yellow part, but it's still to their zoning requirement. So the orange is staying the same, it's already rezoned, it's already zoned, 70-foot lots. The 60-foot lots just has to go in for rezoning, but it will get approved because it's part of their zoning required, what they can do. General business is the middle section for shirts, and that's being rezoned to residential, but again, per their code to their lot size.
And I'll add in to what Ms. Tonda said, that in 2014, when they were doing the expanded clear zones out at JBSA, and they were working with all of the communities to redo our zoning, Schertz voluntarily rezoned all of this area to large lot residential in order to make Randolph happy and to get the development that they needed over there. Of course, again, because it's in our ETJ, it doesn't have a zoning. And so that's part of the background on why Schertz has the different zoning.
And you might have said this, but I might have missed it, but is it Church Cibolo ISTS over there, correct? It's not Judson. Did they, when you talked to them, did they have any concerns about the number of kids and what school they would go to, or did they have plenty of room to accommodate? Not going to
They
open a new
didn't
school.
bring anything up on the school.
Yeah, this is the first step again. So a conversation to be brought up, we definitely can see how that goes.
Sure. And then are any of these going to be a zero lot line, or are they all going to be?
I believe they all meet the city requirements. I believe it's a 5-foot side setback and is it 15, 20 feet in the front?
Okay. I've heard from some citizens that they would like a little bit more upscale zero lot line garden homes available. So if that's something that you might be interested in, I would be open to it. Okay. I shared Councilmember Goolsby's preference for larger lot sizes, but I'm not going to give you a hard time about that. If you want to put your money into this, I want to kind of take your market studies to heart and go with it. I also don't mind the mini center being in Schertz because that needs a little bit more taxable value in Universal City. But I did want to ask if you have any thoughts about letting Orchard Park participate in the facilities, maybe having a facility use agreement between the homeowners associations to allow them to use the pool. A pool is a common request that we get in Universal City. We don't have one, so the more residents we could have with access to a pool would be great.
I definitely think that's something that we could consider. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
So I'm gonna just echo both there since you're asking for feedback. That was one of my things, is possibly having the pool open for Orchard Park residents if they want it. That was my question, so that would be awesome. And then I like the idea, and like I said, we've heard from people that like there's not a lot of older folks places to live here, so the zero lot line and like garden homes is awesome, but I also hate how small these are and how crammed in they all are. I don't like it. I like the 60s and 70s over here. It'd be kind of awesome if we could push some of that in there and then maybe have some of the garden homes. That's just my feedback. Like, it just seems like that's a lot of houses in tight space, but that's my feedback. That's it.
I'd add one other thing on the plan, and maybe this will be helpful. This is probably our, 8th iteration of this plan. And meeting with staff. We actually had a plan that looks more like what you see in the shirt section, where it's actually gridded out. And in the process of doing that, we actually get more lots. So what you actually see here is somewhat a reduction of that. And we can give you that plan that kind of shows that, because I think we hear the concerns, and I think that's our effort to try and appease those concerns that we've already heard from staff. The roundabouts, that's losing lots. That green space is losing lots. The efficiency we get at Schertz is almost needed because those are larger lot sizes that's required by their zoning. So that's a plan we have. We're more than happy to provide to you all that I think would show that as well.
One thing that I did want to reiterate on the having Orchard access the amenity. The only way I could say that would be doable, I'm literally president of 19 boards because I have to be when we develop them, is that their dues would increase because they would have to pay the extra, which I'm sure a lot of homeowners would, but you're going to have that handful of homeowners that like, no, I'm not going to pay extra for that. It could be offered, but it would be at a dues increase. So, but that's definitely something I think that is doable, but they would have to pay the dues just like, that community did. Because then you would have residents moving there and say, well, why aren't they paying the same dues we are. So, but I definitely think it's doable, and we can have a meeting with them to see if that's a general consensus of something that they would want.
I just wanted to respond to that. I do like this, not this linear grid that you've given us versus what you put up there. I do like that a lot. I like the broken up. I feel like I could get lost in here easily. I mean, it's not as bad as some of the houses in Live Oak, but I love this because it's not just looking down and I've got cookie cutter here all the way down the back. I'm assuming you're not going to give me cookie cutter all the way down the back, and you're going to have like 5, 6 different layouts.
I love it. It'll look like Orchard, which has some variety. I know they have different, what do you call them, facades, elevations. Thank you. But yeah, usually, so I'm David with Coot Engineers, by the way, I should introduce myself. Yeah, usually when we start this process with Meritage, we do Orchard Park. It's usually how many lots can you get on it, and that's the starting point. And so just wanted to highlight that they have dialed it back in conversations with staff, and we believe this kind of accomplishes some of that. And so if that helps you go back to your constituents and show them that plan in an effort to do that, we're more than happy to provide it.
Yes. Kim, for clarification, where is the polo field, or where was it? Is it?
The polo fields are actually still there. Maybe you can show them on the map. That would be easy.
The 10-acre polo field is right in here, in this area.
Okay. I know when it went to Shirts a while ago, I started getting some phone calls about people that were concerned about emergency vehicles access. And part of the selling point at that point was it was going into an apartment complex, I thought. And so with this being houses, I can see UC having to respond to emergency situations over there and having that flow of traffic, which was a huge concern of people that lived in that neighborhood, just on the speed of vehicles, the safety of their children, et cetera. So I know that will be something that will definitely be talked about as you're going through with this development. I concur, I would like to see a little bit larger lot size. And I definitely have had conversations with people in that area about traffic already, 1518, so I know that's a significant pain point. I know traffic studies, based on traffic study on Pat Booker, and we have, we're still graded okay on how long it takes to get from one end to the other, but it doesn't mean that people are satisfied with it. And you already have people that are not satisfied there. So I do think that getting out of the neighborhoods with the stoplight, the stoplights, that's going to be addressed anywhere in there. But I know those are big pain points that you're going to be looking at.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I can respond to that. And Matthew kind of mentioned it. The good thing about this plan is it brings connectivity that otherwise doesn't exist. And we kind of talked about having one access point off of 1518. What this plan actually does is gets you back to the controlled signalized intersection of Savannah, blanking on the name of it. No, not Maskey. The ones that
Above the Savannah.
I designed the road, I can't think. But to the north, where you have the signalized intersection. As much as we have access points, we want to have controlled access points because they're much safer. And so this will give them the ability to get to that point. As part of the TIA study, they'll analyze not only our proposed access point to all of these connections, but it will include an analysis of that intersection as well. And so it might, depending on the results of it, depending on the traffic counts, it could identify improvements in any or all of those locations. We just don't know that now. That'll be part of the process that we follow, that follows code. So there are requirements from a level of service standpoint. The last thing you want is sending everyone to that light and then they sit at for 5 minutes because they can't get out.
Right.
And so it'll consider all of that when we get to the process.
Okay. And then the only other concern that I know we've had brought up to us previously is the drainage issue. So I'm glad that that's also part of your study. So that's all I have.
Yeah, and one final comment on the clip back that you see from 1518. Part of that is there's drainage through there, but the other part is a sight distance safety issue. That's an area that could have also been lotted out. But we believe as we kind of look at this that that's in the best interest of the community because that is kind of the sharp turn kind of through there. And so, that gives us additional opportunities to handle drainage as well, is the other benefit of that.
Being at the end of the rope, they've all had some very fine points. I agreed with all of them, with the lot size. So yeah, just keep in mind that Universal City deserves some really good thought processes to stay in line with what's out there. But yeah, very fine points.
You got another one? Oh, actually, I've got a few more, sorry guys and ladies. Traffic on Maskey, I mean, I know that it can be heavy, especially on the weekends when they have those soccer tournaments and things like that going on. Is there any thought to rolling the retail around the corner there as opposed to the houses or commercial properties? Is that a blip on the radar?
I'll defer to really Meritage staff. I think that, yeah, there's an opportunity for that, is what I would say.
I just know that I've tried to go down Maskey on the weekend before and thought, why am I even doing that? So it's one of those things that, I mean, I'm sure that during the week that the traffic isn't as bad, but I don't know. I'd be curious to see if y'all have looked into that at all.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then I don't know who you need to warn more, because there's a little bit of green space between UC and the soccer field, but then there is on shirts in the soccer field. But are you going to warn those people that, hey, watch out for flying soccer balls? I mean, we have a golf course here, get hit by golf balls all the time. I just make sure you let people know I'm sure they'll see it. These flying soccer balls scare the crap out of you if you're not careful. There is a green space I'm seeing. Is that intentional between UC and the club fields?
That is actually, so that green space will actually be a dog park and your mailbox turnaround. We actually plan on putting a drive-through behind the mailboxes there in that corner. The other back green space can also be an extension of the dog park. We needed to give more green space, basically. And to your thought on the soccer balls and everything else, we do plan on fencing that back part of that green space so that will help with that as well. And then the green space that you see around the top portion of the property on the other side of the commercial that kind of wraps around the back part of the lots, that was a space requirement for the family that's selling it, and as well as a masonry type fence around that area. And then we'll also use that same nice masonry fence around the front part of Universal City Park as well.
I like that a lot. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Anything else?
Mayor, I have one question. This is for the council, just so that we're giving them as much clarity as we need. So some of you have said larger lots, and some of you have said garden homes, and sometimes garden homes are on much smaller lots. So I guess my question for the council is, so they have options to choose from, if they made some lots larger and some lots smaller and did larger lots and garden homes, is that something that the council would be amenable to?
I would love garden homes. I think they're magnificent.
But again, that's Meritage's decision, because obviously they have to, so there's zoning that determines the size of lot they're going to get, right, which they've dealt with in shirts. And then there's the other thing, which is called market demand. What they're really operating off is what is the market demand and what people want. So what we may deem as the market demand, but I don't sell homes and I don't build homes, so I don't really know. That's their job. They may know more what the market demand is, and they may run the numbers and come back and say, market demand doesn't support that. I just wanted everybody to have that discussion so that when they leave here today, they understand all of their options.
I know I've talked to a lot of people who don't need their large homes anymore, can't do their lots. They're looking for a 2-bedroom garden home that gives them more square footage of living space, but they don't want to do their yards. If there's a room for a pool, that's all they want. Quite a few we have a lot in Universal City who are retired and we're getting up in age, and they want that smaller space, not the big neighborhood homes.
Yeah, I know that the garden homes across, around us, they don't stay on the market long.
Oh no, you have to die to get
Definitely think it's something we can look at. Now, I will tell you, currently Meritage Homes does not have a garden home product. We do not go that small. We're not I'm not even going to say it, I'm not going to name builders, but no, we do not have something that small. I'm not going to say that it's not something that we can't look into to see if some of our other divisions does have that. kind of like I think y'all referenced before, it's kind of about the density is, what you're paying for the land, what you can get out of it. I will say that, we build a very good product. Orchard Park looks amazing. It's going to be it would be with these lot sizes, it's the same size lots that are in Orchard Park. Same homes, same size lots. It's pretty much a mimic of Orchard Park, which was very successful. Didn't take long to sell out of it either. So, but we will definitely look into it and see if it's an option.
Zero lot line homes?
No.
Because my other recommendation could be is that if they took their 50s and they went into 45s, I'm going to say this without looking at Public Works because I know how they feel. Then they would have maybe some more acreage or square footage that they could pick up for some other lots. Again, it's their business. They'll have to determine what works for them.
Anything else?
I would just answer your question. I would defer to you guys on that. If you were going to ask me, I would prefer some squiggly streets than the straight lines. So
I think it looks nicer.
Yeah,
Yes.
is that what you would say, Jim? Okay.
Yeah, so the benefit of curvilinear streets is that slow traffic down. And so when we did meet with them, we did have concerns on the main entrance off of Maskey and off of 1518. Those are long roads. So the compromise was to lose a few lots, widen those intersections with the roundabout, which will automatically slow the traffic down and preclude us and or them from at some point having to put in stop signs. We want to keep the traffic moving.
I'd like to end with just one thing. Speaking of market demand, I've seen interest in multifamily homes coming about more frequently in the recent past, such as mother-in-laws moving in and making a mother-in-law suite, things of that nature. I'd be interested or curious on what the market demand is for that for newer homes, if people are actually looking for homes with that type of a concept.
We actually have not seen it, and we do a lot of development. That's not something that's come up in any of our market studies, really in the last probably 2 or 3 years. So I haven't seen that. Now, a lot of our homes do have the 4 bedrooms, and a lot of people are going to where they're moving their parents in and putting them in that 4th bedroom, but not an ensuite. In other words, it doesn't have 2 masters, 2 larger bedrooms, but we haven't seen that demand here. We have seen that demand in Houston, but we have not seen that demand here.
Anything else? Then thank you very much. I think you've got some
Thank
information
y'all
to
for
work
your
with.
time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for the feedback and consideration. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we'll come up to citizen communication. At this time, the public is invited to address the city council and speak on any matter not specifically listed for public hearing. Please note that there will be no action taken, and I do have one individual that's signed up. Just spread some paperwork around here. It was David Byrd, if I remember correctly. Yes, there it is. David Byrd. Okay. Come out, state your name and your address, please.
I'm David Byrd. Address is 3235 Sable Cross in San Antonio, Texas, 78232. How y'all doing?
Good.
Just want to say y'all's pumpkin patch is quite a little ordeal. We deliver pumpkins all over the state of Texas. H-E-B, Walmart, we do. And these young ladies here, I'll tell you what, my hat goes off to them. We've had there's no comparison to the amount of the army that's behind all this, how they coordinated all. The public work guys unloading the trucks. It's all like an orchestra, you know? It's amazing. And like I said, we do a pumpkin patch in Austin. And this year, example, everybody's sales were down compared to last year. And a lot of it had to do with the heat, a lot had to do with the economy. Everybody's holding their money, they're kind of waiting to see what went on here yesterday. But the pumpkin patch in Austin, for example, they normally pull 4 to 5 loads a year. They pulled 1 load this year. The vine normally pulls 2 to 3 loads. Bracken, they pulled a load and a half, 2 loads. They pulled half a load. So the whole economy and everything what they've done this year with their sales, yeah, it was off from last year, but still, it's an amazing job. And I look forward to the partnership we developed over the last 4 years. Okay.
I'm not counting.
I don't count either. You just go with it. But I just want to say thank y'all, and I appreciate y'all, and that's my little chat there.
Thank you, David.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Well done. Now we have time for our public hearing. At this time, the public is invited to address each item in the section, and we'll give the first public hearing. Request for amendment to the FLUP at 205 West Byrd Boulevard from medium density residential to general commercial. It is 20 after 7. Open the public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So as you recall, this is a continuation of the public hearing for this request from the last council meeting. And so staff has been working with the applicants on the proposed planning and development and a compromise, a win-win situation. And so we think we are just about there. I have a few items that I would like to get your input on. And so with that, I'll turn it over to the applicant. They have a presentation that they would like to make.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilmembers. Marilyn McDonald here on behalf of the property owner and applicant. Address is 100 Northeast Loop 410, San Antonio, Texas. Just want to start off by saying thank you to Kim and Michael. It's been great to work with them on this. I wish it was under different circumstances, but I think we have a path forward now. And so I will go into the presentation. So the property, I'm sure everyone is aware, is 205 West Byrd Boulevard. It's just under an acre, about 0.685. It was, you can see here on the property with the star, kind of tucked away behind Pat Booker and the gas station, surrounded by residential zoning, but some commercial uses. My client purchased the property about summer of 2023, and there have been different users throughout that time, and the non-conforming use had been an issue up until about May, and then we applied for the zoning in September to sort of come to a resolution on what's been going on. So before you tonight is the FLUP amendment. We had originally requested to go from medium density residential to general commercial, and that would accompany the C4 zoning request. We understand there's pushback with that C4 request. There were some uses under C4 that the city, planning and zoning staff did not want. So we began negotiating and talking through a Putt. And so with that Putt, the updated request includes several different land uses, FLUP, requests before you to accommodate the uses that we foresee the property. So again, it's old-time residential as of, I believe, 2007, and the original request before you was for C4, and again, we've been negotiating the planning and development district with Ken and Michael. So here are the, here are the proposed PUD uses that I believe we have agreed upon with city staff. That includes the desired residential uses that the plan had recommended before. We have some civic uses included. One of the more, I guess, times we spent more time on this industrial use, and it's the warehousing, and specifically what it would look like in relation to the other uses that are on Byrd and near it. And so if there is any outdoor storage, it will be screened by a solid fence as that's defined in the code. Right now, there's not a plan for that with the two tenants that he's negotiating with. But that is an option in case they do need that. We are also proposing various commercial uses that you can see here on the property. I do believe these are all reasonable for what Universal City sees, moving forward as far as, restaurants or, retail sales, but also potentially, they could accommodate some of the tenants he sees coming to the property. I believe the only items we need to clarify are the equipment sales and the equipment repair services. And so right now there is a potential tenant that offers, it's more of a nursery garden, sales, but they do have equipment, lawnmowers, weed whackers that they do offer up. And so we would like to be able to have the repair on site of lawnmowers or weed whackers or anything like that. So it's not the primary use wouldn't be the equipment sales or the equipment repair, but we don't want to run afoul if someone does bring their lawnmower in and get it fixed. So I believe, all of the remaining uses are reasonable, but would like that clarification on the equipment sales, and maybe we can word it into the ordinance, craft it, if you will. Again, these are the proposed PUD design restrictions that we've agreed to. If there's any commercial redevelopment on the property, as well as fencing that would be required, the solid fencing would be required. Here is the site plan survey that would also be included in the PUD ordinance. It shows the parking, it shows the existing building, and of course, if someone were to come in and propose a completely new use, this would change. But it's in here as we expect to keep the building and the parking in place right now. I know everyone knows what the building looks like, and I'm just including for reference what it looks like today and the inside. We do expect there to be, some administration, office uses, as well as, sales and storage. Just, a reminder, we are surrounded by commercial zoning, but then also commercial uses that are in residential zoning. An aerial for reference. And then we do have the support of, I think, 4 letters of support of property owners near our property. And with that, I will take any questions that you may have, or I don't know if this is the appropriate time. But.
Can you bring up the attachment? I think it'll help aid the discussion about those different uses on and out. So really there are 3 different types of uses, and she described what the intent, or their intent. But these are the definitions in the zoning code for those types of uses. And so we just want to get feedback so we can craft that language. So if any of us is gone in a few years and we have a new set that has to interpret this about a different type of use, it's very clear to them what can and cannot go there. So we have consumer repair services, equipment sales, and equipment repair services. And so really, staff, what we're concerned about, and I think members of the community are concerned about, is as long as the uses are fenced and they're not visible from the right-of-way, then we don't have an issue with that. What we don't want to see is you have a fence there that's solid, meets that section of the code, but you have bobcats and things that are visible over the fence. So that's really, our intent is just to make sure that it's screened properly.
This is public hearing, right?
Yes.
We stay quiet, right?
That's right.
I'm looking at you over there.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yes, so I'm sorry, I was thinking through the best way to keep this moving smoothly. So if we confirm no one else wants to speak to this one, we can close this one, we can open the other one. Do you have a different presentation for that one? Okay, we can open that other one, see if anyone wants to speak, close that one, and then start discussion.
Well, with that being said, does anyone else care to address the open meeting? At 7:29, we close the meeting, and at 7:29, we open the other public hearing. Request for zoning map amendment at 205 West Byrd Boulevard from Old Town Residential District to C4 General Commercial District. And anybody, I have no one signed up. Anyone care to discuss or comment? And at let's just say 7:30. I read slow. We close the meeting, and now we turn it over to council for comments and discussion.
So yeah, we can open the discussion item as you typically would.
So it is ready for discussion.
Okay, I'll get mine out of the way. Just looking at the solid fence, it sounds like a traditional wood 6-foot fence would fit the bill. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I would be fine with that. And you mentioned equipment being visible above that fence. I wouldn't be worried about that if you had something that was a little bit taller than 6-foot fence and you could see it from the street. That wouldn't bother me. I mean, the business that was there before, not trying to denigrate, but they had appliances kind of strewn over the parking lot. So, but it was a chain link fence. So if we had that fence there, it would be fine. And the uses, I guess you're trying to carve out automotive, but any kind of other equipment is sort of the thought process, or?
May I approach?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so auto repair, auto sales out. Don't want that, don't need that. But as far as the equipment sales and the equipment repair, I think we could limit it to, like gardening equipment or, equipment that furthers some, some other use that's listed in that permitted use table. It's not a standalone use. We're not going to have, Bobcat sales here. We're not going to have Bobcat repairs or cement truck repairs or anything like that. It's just, we'd hate to have a tenant in there that offers, the sale of gardening equipment, just as an example, and they have to go somewhere else, like, I don't think Lowe's does this, but they have to go to Lowe's or something to get it repaired. So hoping to keep it internal and just, if it does happen, want council and staff to know that it could be a possibility. We're not trying to hide anything. So that's what this particular tenant has requested.
Sure. Well, if it had a wooden privacy fence 6 foot around it, I wouldn't be worried about what goes on inside the fence. Maybe noise, if you're like testing equipment and there's a house down the street or something, maybe that would be one minor concern, but you might want to come back.
That is one of the concerns because there are two single-family homes adjacent to this property. So noise is always an issue, potentially an issue when you have repair work going on. That's the concern. Trying to mitigate that for the neighbors.
I have a quick question. Do we have a definition for small engine repair? What is a small engine?
I do not have a definition.
And what do you mean by small engine?
Well, the way the men keep mentioning lawnmowers, things of that nature. That's really small engines and blowers and weed whackers, as you call it. The trimmers are normally 2-stroke motors. Those are small engines, small engine repairs. So those all classify there. Then you get into the automotive, that's in the larger engines. So if we come up with a definition of you're looking for small engine repair, lawn care, you get into farming equipment, that's large equipment.
Right, so you're assuming it's for household use. So
Yes,
Michael and I
that's
were
an
just
assumption I'm
discussing.
making here, but I don't want to make an assumption and then you get wrong with assumptions. That's what I'm bringing it up.
Right.
So that really does fit the definition of consumer repair services. Is that if we go with that definition, I think we're okay.
Okay. I'll check, but I believe that's okay.
Yeah, we would just want the client or the applicant to just obviously confirm with your client that that works.
We're already agreeing to, we're already agreeing to that as one of our uses, so I believe that.
I'm sorry, over here, Mr. Patrick?
I was just gonna say, I looked up small engine mechanics, and that can include other things like motorcycles as well. So I don't think that's where you want to go, but I think it's not the perfect, small engine doesn't define it perfectly. I think it's getting closer. Yeah, motorboats, generators are also included in that definition.
They very well be.
So but I think that's getting us closer to what we would be comfortable with.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Ms. Putt? Mr. Logan?
Okay. All right, sorry.
Yeah, I was looking at him, but pointing at you.
Yeah, like my thing is the no salvage. I don't want to see like, a hood laying there. I don't want to see that sort of stuff. And it's not, making sure that we're all talking the same language, because every now and then things get a little misconstrued. That fencing, we are talking solid. I did neglect totally reading our ordinance, and it keeps stating as defined. We're defining it solid is wood or masonry. Making sure that we are not allowing chain link with the little strips in it. That's
Yeah,
okay.
That's not permitted under solid.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because,
I remember what you said last time, and so I did bring that up to the
Thank you so much.
voter.
I'm just saying, when I was looking at those pictures, all I could think of is we should get somebody to put an axe throwing place in there. So just throwing that out there. You seem to be on the path that we're chasing. It's the visuals of it. Let's make sure whatever we're doing, we're screening, and then I didn't even think about the noise side of it. So that side of it, yeah, let's be cognizant of that as well. What's going to make a lot of noise when I'm repairing that? I know that whenever we break out the air compressors and things like that, oh yeah, goodness, it'll wake you up in the morning. So if we could be cognizant of things like that, and the proximity to those residences with that, that's kind of my comment.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Any other feedback?
Move on to the next definition.
Let's go.
Equipment sales. So, as you can see, sale or rental of trucks, tractors, construction equipment, agricultural implements, mobile homes, heavy equipment.
And that's not what we're looking for. Just to clarify, it's a very broad definition, but again, the equipment sales would be restricted to the smaller engine, not motorcycles, not boats, lawnmowers, weed whackers, blowers, things like that. So be willing to take that out and maybe craft something under what's already listed. So the equipment sales and equipment repairs, I think we can eliminate and bring new language for the second reading, hopefully tweak it a little bit to staff's if they would like.
Any objections to that?
No objections. I'm just, I know Councilmember Vaughan doesn't like looking at the top of a Bobcat. I don't mind seeing the top of a Bobcat. I just don't want to see the whole Bobcat or the big John Deere sitting there.
Sure.
I know that's not where you're headed, but again, we may not all be here, and let's make sure that we get that crafted properly.
Of course.
My big thing is I don't want to see the appliances anymore. I don't want to see that.
John Deere, nice and clean one.
Oh,
They look kind of nice.
They look really nice on the truck, on the trailer. I didn't do the right.
So I think we have direction that we can craft that with the applicant and have that ready for the second reading.
So here's what's important for this evening is the readings, right? So you are approving it with the specified changes this evening. And then between the first reading and the second reading, we'll work with Caroline and her client to craft the wording with under the consumer repair section. And then we'll bring back that cleaned up version with that one change made to you for your second reading. So on the second reading, we will not have it under consent items, we'll have it listed as a separate action item, so you can still discuss it. Ashton said, okay, let's move on.
Yep, move on.
Anything else? No, there's no vote on this one. Is there a vote? Is there a vote on this? Are we
Well, we
voting?
moved to discussion, so we could do the vote now if you wanted on those items.
You need a vote, right, to do the second reading?
Yes, sir.
That, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Got those?
Move to approve as amended.
As amended. Move to approve as amended.
Don't think we need any further discussion, so call for the vote.
Just to be clear, this is on the flood, you still have another ordinance that pertains to this item?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Okay. So who were in first and second? Ashton was first.
I was second.
Councilmember Bulman?
Aye.
Councilmember Putt?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Councilmember Goolsby?
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Approved. Then we have another vote for the second, correct?
As amended.
As amended.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Got this right? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Goolsby?
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Councilmember Putt?
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Approved. Thank you very much. I know there was a lot of concern and discussions. Next, we'll go into city manager announcements.
So I have just one announcement for councils and most of our boards and commissions. So we are moving to new agenda center software. We're going to roll that out for the November 19th meeting. So Maribel will be giving you your information and how to log into that. The other good thing about this agenda center is we can work months in advance and get the agenda set up. And then the other thing is that it also helps us take minutes as we move along. So we're hoping to expedite and use our time a little wiser while we're in here. And so just be on the lookout for that. And I've used it. In fact, most of the staff has used it. It's very simple to use. For the public, once we post it for city council, it will automatically get posted on our website as well in the form that they can see it into. So that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Vaughan, since you had the invocation today, would you like to start out with comments?
That's up for me. Oh, wait, do you have one more thing you're going to say?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vaughan and Ms. Bulman. So the question has come about, we had talked about the digital speed signs and, you know, have they been ordered, when do they come in, are they going to be put up? So they have been ordered, they finally came in, we have them this week. We're going to get them put together, and then the Public Works street crew will figure out where to initially install them so that we can have them. So we would expect within 30 days that they'll be active. So we'll see how that goes.
There's nothing for me tonight, Mayor.
Okay, we'll swing around this way. Mayor Pro Tem?
Nothing for me today. I think we've said everything.
No?
I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Goolsby?
Do you want me to break it?
Sure.
So, great job on the pumpkin patch. Woo. I think the heat was probably
Killed us.
the biggest downer. I know that we had more than one time did I find my gaggle coming back from the pumpkin patch. I just want to commend the primarily ladies that were running voting stations. They were extremely helpful. I know that they're not here tonight, but they were fun to watch because the guy in front of me, he had two last names. I'm trying to vote twice, I don't know, but it was fun, and they were professional about it, and they moved people through as quick as they could when I was there. I don't know about when the rest of y'all were there, but I was sure enjoyed harassing them when I could. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. And my announcement, do you want to discuss the first meeting in December for the tree lighting? Light agenda.
If you would like to, go ahead.
We're having a light agenda for the first meeting in December so that we can all kind come in, do what we need to do, then get back out and enjoy the tree lighting and the festivities with the citizens coming in. So just kind of keep that prepared out. I know we got one more meeting between now and then. This past Saturday was the Veterans Parade. We had a pretty good turnout. I've noticed over the years, though, that the number of people coming out is kind of is getting less and less, but they were more condensed down around the grandstand towards the end of the parade. But instead of doing Corvettes this year, you guys that missed it from last year attended. This year we did Jeeps. So that started out with myself because I was really wanting to ride something besides a Corvette. They asked me what I wanted at the VFW. I asked for a tank and settled on a Jeep. But I think we're going to do Jeeps from our own because they were pretty popular. We got some good feedback from those, with the exception of 2 people. And there's 3 of us in the parade.
I don't know what he's talking about. I want to float.
We have, well, we got some options for next year, and we need to kind of plan ahead and maybe work with the VFW and the American Legion on getting a little bit better participation in going. It was a very quiet parade, and I think we need to maybe get some music in there, get some, I guess a little bit, make it a little more family friendly. So that's something that we'll work with the VFW and the sponsors on that. We had a couple of cuttings this one last Friday, L&L Hawaiian, which was really over the top cutting, and our grand opening, I should say. Lots of people there, a lot of food, music. Did a Hawaiian blessing. Learned a few things. I got blessed a few times. I got laid a few times. The floral. Don't take it someplace else. It was really very interesting, and I think we're very, very happy to have them into our city. And there's some good retail services come from there. They also want to work with us in future endeavors as far as their food truck goes and events and things of that nature. So we have different opportunities there. With that, that's really all I've got for the rest of it, and we'll go and finish up the rest of it. Tab A, the consent agenda. All matters listed under this items are considered to be routine by City Council and will be enacted by one motion. No one has requested anything to be taken out. So, move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on anything? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Goolsby.
Aye.
Councilmember Putt.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Go with that one. Action items. Tab B, ordinance number 632 PC 58. I'm sorry?
You're down to D.
We're on tab D as in dog.
Ooh. You're right. My apologies. Didn't turn the page. Tab D, Delta, award contract for Olympia Hills operational assessment.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As you know, during our recent budget session, one of the items that came up was an operational assessment. I think that actually the year was used was a business plan, but golf courses don't do business plan, they do operational assessments. And so we did reach out to many vendors to get an idea of what they would charge and what they would look at during the operational assessment. And so we did have 6 submissions. Mr. Vaughan, Ms. Fitzpatrick, and 4 staff members went through those. They did unanimously pick National Golf Foundation at a cost of $31,500. We did make a couple of extra requests of National Golf with a Zoom meeting before they start, so we can answer questions for clarification, and then Zoom meetings with them once they start giving us draft forms so that we can go over that with them and provide feedback. The other item that we requested was that they not do their presentation by Zoom. As some of you know who've recently done Zoom, you kind of feel like you're not part of the room. It's hard to hear. And so we did request that they give us a price to come in person to do their presentation. And so all that information is here for you. So this is up for approval by City Council this evening.
Request a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Yep. Discussion?
Mayor, I'll just say that I was enticed by the lowest bid, of course. And some people asked me about why we didn't pick the lowest bid. they had some add-ons that were gonna be more expensive that were in the other one. So we thought once those were added in, they probably would have been close. The second lowest had a hospitality focus, not a golf focus. So we were really down to 3 that were very close in price, and staff was really like National Golf Foundation. And if you look at their proposal, it has pretty much everything in it. So I think if they do that, then we're gonna get a really comprehensive assessment. So we like the direction we're going. Bigger.
I reviewed some of the selection, I think made a good choice. With that, I'll call for the vote.
Councilmember Putt,
Aye.
Councilmember Goolsby,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman, Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Tab E, bid acceptance of the National and East Langley Street Reconstruction Project.
Thank you, sir. We have Ivy Lane under construction, we have Hillview under construction, and lots of streets being ripped up to have more construction. So we put this one out to bid for National and East Langley. Thankfully, our low bidder did come under our estimated price, and so we have this bid before you this evening to approve so that we can move forward with construction. Anything you want to add?
No, Mayor, Council, we had 3 responsive bidders, and our low bid, which we're recommending, is in the amount of $2,022,128 to include additive alternates number 1 in the amount of $679,124 and an additive alternate number 2 in the amount of $240,475, totaling $2,941,727 to Easy Bell for the East Langley and National Street reconstruction projects. Motion to approve.
Second.
Comment.
Call for discussion.
So why did we have such a low turnout on this? You know, I was curious too. Your favorite contractor, D&D, was not included on here, so. Oh, no. Yeah, so, I can't explain. We put it out there, there's quite a few that pull contracts, but at this time of the year, we are competing against TxDOT contracts that go out for bid. And so a lot of times we get less bids at this time, so. The good thing is Easy Bell is doing our Kitty Hawk thoroughfare, so they actually got another contract with us now to do these 2 streets. So thank you.
Success is not usually the engineer that does. I don't know if I've noticed their name on some of the other bids. Are they more common or not? I'm wondering if the engineer, some of our engineers are better at soliciting bids than others.
No, we put it all out on SIDCast, so every bid that I have in the city goes out on SIDCast, so every engineer uploads it to SIDCast, so everybody sees it.
So there wouldn't be a difference between them in terms of, okay. And then can you tell the residents at all what to expect?
Yeah, once we meet with the contractor on how, because we do have it phased, whether we're going to start off, if they want to start off with East Langley, because on National, we do have some drainage improvements on National. So we'll meet with the contractor, see how he wants it phased, and then we'll notify the residents as we're going into different phases as we go.
So you'll do it in sections, will you like completely finish the section and then move on to the next one?
That is the plan. That is the plan, because we don't want to tear up that whole area right there at the same time, so, yes.
Steamer.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Putt,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Motion carried.
The last item is no tap, and it's discussion for the city council discussion only. This was actually called for by Mr. Ball, I do believe, and I want to make it noted that Mr. Ball is not here. Reason unknown, we did call him and no response. So I would like it just noted that he is absent, and if it determines that we need to make an approval or disapproval of that at a later date, we will. Is that within protocol?
Sure, if you want to push it and give him the opportunity to be here, that's not an issue. I can generally tell you what he was looking for because he typed it up for me. And that is that he would like that if a fence repair is changing a light fence for a light fence, that there be no permits and no permit fees at all. You remember the discussion? Some of you remember the discussion we had. I don't remember when it was where we came up with the 3 kinds. What requires a full permit, what doesn't require a permit, what requires a nominal permit. And Mr. Reval, I think, is thinking to do away with all fence permits and all fence fees.
Yes, ma'am.
I was at that meeting and it was long and arduous and hard, but you all came up with a response to it and it was approved. And I think we just need to let it live its course for a little while before we go down that road again. That was a long, dusty road that you all had to sit through.
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to say, technically, it was more than one meeting. It was several. And I haven't had anybody bring up any concerns since the change has gone in. I don't know if anybody else has heard from anybody. I also would support just letting it sit for more time and seeing if there's any more pushback, because I just don't know that I want to open that can of worms again after it took a while to come to a consensus on that topic.
I don't mind pushing this for 6 months.
I was a little confused. I guess I was thinking that this was something else. I thought we had talked about the alleyway maintenance. That's what I was thinking this might have been.
That's on
but
the next agenda, sir.
It's on the next one? Okay. Yeah, I would even need a refresher on what we approved, to be honest. So I'd need to table again if we were going to do it. So I would say we postpone. He wants to bring it back in a few months. If you open that.
Ms. Bowe?
Yeah, same. I thought it was about something else, so I don't know.
So kick it down the road 6 months?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so that's.
Or if you request
7 months, maybe 7 months?
Or 7 months.
6.5 months?
Before we go, you guys.
Well, do we have to postpone it, or can we just
Table it.
table it? If he wants to bring it up in the future after 6 months, he can.
He's heard our comments tonight, so
Yeah.
if he wants to request it again and put it back on, then we can do that.
So there's no tab, so no action taken. It is, wow, 7:55. Thank you very much. Good meeting.